Hi, friends. Welcome to the Optimized Online Marketing Podcast. Today, I have a special guest. Her name is Liz Wilcox. She is the host of the Email Sound Booth podcast, as well as the owner of the Email Marketing Membership, which is a really amazing membership when you want to run emails for marketing. So, here is the amazing Liz. Thank you so much for joining me today, Liz. So great
Oh
to
my
have you.
gosh, Stacy, let's do this. I can't wait to rock and roll with some email marketing tips today.
Yes. So this is really just a quick funny story. This was supposed to be a little strategy session that I had on the books with Liz, but I honestly had no idea what to talk about other than actually email marketing tips and strategies in general and the state of email marketing in the world. So I was like, what'd be a cool idea is if I just have Liz on the podcast and answer the questions, and that way you guys can have the answers too. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Before we do that, Liz, if you could just give us a short little intro about who you are, what you do, and all of the fun things.
Yeah, so when you listen to amazing podcasts like Stacy's and there's some weird lady that comes on and talks to you about email marketing and how for every dollar you spend with email, you can get $40 in return. Now go, 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 email. And you get super pumped up and then you log into Kit or Active Campaign or whatever you're using nowadays. And then you probably feel kind of dumb because you have no idea what the heck to say. Well, what's up? Stacey already introduced me, but my name is Liz Wilcox, and I teach email marketing to content creators, membership site owners, and all things online entrepreneurship. So you can actually start sending emails, start making money, and start having a real business.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. All right. All right. First of all, because since you're probably not too familiar with what I am and what I do, I actually just literally sprung this on you guys. So this is going to be fun. So my name is Stacey Barnes, and I am a online marketer for people who are creating new online offers. So a lot of this conversation is going to be directed towards people who have a brand new online offer and how to nurture them once they've already opted in, and then how to kind of naturally lead them into the sale. So, starting with that, what do you recommend in general when somebody has a brand new online offer and they need to start emailing their list? Where should they start?
Yeah, so number one, I want to make sure you have a proper welcome sequence. Do you have something when I join your email list that tells you, hey, this is who I am, this is who I serve, these are my offers, or, these are the offers that are coming. This is a little bit of my personality, right? And this is the vision I have for you. So I would like for you to evaluate that first and foremost. And if the answer is, oh my gosh, no, I don't have something like that, then I would want you to start really honing in on those things with your email list first. So, sharing a bit of personality. Who are you? Right? If you're watching the video, you can see I'm wearing an NSYNC shirt. I've got Fresh Prince in the background. I got Steve Martin in the background. I love all things 90s, 2000s. And so that's a bit of my personality. So I want you to start putting your personality into your emails. Yes, even when it's like, oh, I'm trying to sell an offer, because and I say this with love, and I hope you're not offended, but you're not the only person out there doing what you're doing, right? But you are the only you, right? There are a million and one email marketers out there, but there's a reason why when Stacy got on my calendar, she said, "Oh, I want to interview Liz. I want her for my show," right? Because I've got a little personality, right? I'm different than
Mhm.
the other ones, and they're different from me, and that's a good thing. So I want you to start with your emails injecting some personality. Also, I want you to start setting expectations. The same way at the top of every podcast, Stacy says, hey, this is the name of the show. This is what we're going to talk about today. If she's got a guest, this is who the guest is. This is their expertise. She's setting expectations of how the next 20, 30, 40 minutes is going to go, right? So we've got to do that in our emails. So as you're about to launch this new offer, talk to your people about what's going on. For example, I've got a welcome sequence workshop coming up. And so yesterday I sent an email that said, hey, I'm going to have this welcome sequence workshop, but first, I know it needs to be revamped, so I need your help. Can you tell me what questions you have about a welcome sequence? And I had them fill out a survey. And so that's a great way of getting people involved, setting the expectation. Hey, this workshop is coming. And the expectation is that you're going to help me craft this workshop by filling out this survey, right? It's the same way in a welcome sequence. I say, I'm going to email you every Tuesday, sometimes a little bit more. I'm going to send you free and paid products. I'm going to do this,
Right.
that, and the other. And so you just want to set expectations as you welcome people in and as you start your launch before you even mention the offer, set the expectation that there is going to always be offers in your emails.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really good. I like the part about adding a bit of personality and flair and setting up those expectations. Now, I think where people kind of get stuck with their emails, the welcome sequence, they kind of opt in for the freebie, they send one email, here's your freebie, and that's kind of it. I feel like there should be a few more emails that come after that to kind of nurture them a little bit more. What does nurturing look like? What does that mean? And why should we do it?
Yeah. So it's like, so Stacy and I, we were talking about going to Podfest before we hit record. And if you met somebody at a conference and you're like, oh my gosh, Stacy, yeah, there's some synergy here. Let's hook up later and let's do a collab. Now, if I just email her 6 months later and want to do a collab, maybe she doesn't even remember who I am, right? So we've got to nurture our folks when they join our list. I already mentioned we got to set expectations, but we want to share that personality too. And we want to share the vision. I kind of mentioned this, but let's go deeper. And this is where we can really nurture people by telling them where we are going, where we see them. For me, it's like you're enrolling in Liz Wilcox University. And, by the end of this thing, you're going to walk across the stage. I'm going to hand you a degree, and that degree is going to be in making money with email marketing. So all my emails are nurturing that vision for you and me telling you, hey, we're going to make money with email. And that way, the people that aren't that serious, like, oh, I just wanted the freebie just to see it, but I'm not really sold on email, they'll unsubscribe. And that's okay because I know where I'm going. I know where I'm taking my students, my members, my customers, my clients, right? I'm very firm on the vision. And if you're not ready to hop on that bus or enroll in that degree with me, then, it's okay. I can release you and maybe you'll come back next semester, right? So those nurture emails are really all about, again, setting those expectations, injecting some personality so you stand out to people, and then sharing the vision. So it's not for me necessarily, oh, it's got to be 3 emails. It has to be 7 emails. It has to be value, value, then sell. It's more about what is inside those emails. Are we making sure our personality is known, right? Are we making sure we can stand out in the inbox? Are we making sure people know where we're going together? And are the expectations incredibly clear?
Oh, love that. Amazing. I love what we keep coming back to this infusing personality into our email. Can you speak a little bit more to that? Let's say somebody feels like they don't have a lot of personality, they don't feel like they're funny or anything like that. How can they write the email so that it sounds more like them without forcing it into the email?
Yeah, number one, baby, practice makes perfect. So just keep writing. You are not, unless you're a natural born storyteller or writer, it's not going to sound like you right off the bat. But what I want you to do is just start emailing. Just stop editing yourself. We have that 10th grade English teacher in the back of our head saying, you know, every essay's got to be 5 paragraphs, an intro, and don't you dare say anything at the bottom that you didn't mention at the top, yada, yada, yada. Forget that lady. Flick her off your shoulder. She is unnecessary. Just write like you were writing to a friend and not like you're writing to a whole bunch of people, just one person. And this isn't necessarily your best friend. My best friend could care less about email marketing. Okay. She's a stay-at-home mom. She has no interest in starting a business. She does not care about email marketing. So I'm not writing to my best friend, but I'm writing to Stacy. I'm writing to Shahara. I'm writing to Lakeisha, right? I'm writing to those people that have started their businesses. They're in the first few years and, she or he, they're really interested in learning email marketing. And so I can geek out with them. And so that's going to help my personality shine because I'm geeking out on a topic that we have a mutual interest in. Also, when I say personality, this doesn't mean you have to be, loud and proud, Liz Wilcox, in your face, extrovert. Oh, we're doing a podcast. Yeah, let's do it right this second. You don't have to be that, but put the person in personality, right? Think of surface level stuff at first. What do you drink every day? For example, every morning I go and I get a giant smoothie, a 44-ounce smoothie. I waste 13 to $15 every day on this thing, but that's just what I do, right? That's something you can share about your personality. Do you have a drink or a beverage that you have every day? Is there something on your desk that you just can't live without? Is there something in your background? For example, I've got movie posters and music in the background. I love pop culture. That's part of my personality. But again, it's not telling you much about Liz Wilcox. I'm not giving you all these, sob stories or being incredibly vulnerable. I know a lot of copywriters will teach you, oh, be vulnerable. It's like, well, I don't want to be vulnerable. I work really hard not to be vulnerable, right? Like being vulnerable is being homeless on the streets. I don't want to be vulnerable. I want to have fun with my audience. I want to teach them. I want things to be light. Even if I have a heavy topic, like I'm a grief counselor, I want to make light for my people, right? So again, sharing things that are pop culture related, food, beverage, colors, trinkets, things like that are really easy to inject into your emails to put a little bit of personality into them.
I love that. I part of the reason why I connect with Liz so much is because of all of the 90s stuff that she has. The brand, everything from the branding to the Fresh Prince, like analogies or what's it called, references inside of her podcast, her emails. I love that she loves NSYNC. I have that's a BTS poster. It's blurred out in the background, but it's actually a BTS poster. It's like the NSYNC of the 2020s. So
Right.
I love the personality. And there are some other people who have infused personality in their marketing. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Zach Spuckler.
Yes.
So he does Facebook ads and he loves Taylor Swift and he loves Wicked. And like, I don't necessarily love Taylor Swift. I don't not like her, but I actually love how he loves Taylor Swift, the energy that he brings to that. Like, he's so passionate about it. And people don't have to like what you like. They kind of like the energy that comes with it. And so, because you love that thing, whatever it is, whether it's Taylor Swift, whether it's Fresh Prince, like bringing that energy to your content, whether it's email, podcast, whatever it is, just bringing that energy and bringing on all of those interests and little things that you love, whether, it doesn't even have to be Taylor Swift. It could be a 44-ounce smoothie that you drink, like any of that. When you're passionate about something, that comes out whenever you're talking about something. And so, bring that into your emails, bring that into your content, and people will see it and people will love it. Awesome. So,
Absolutely. Y'all, I teach something called the email staircase. First, you have a follower, then you have a friend, then you have a customer. So, follower, they find you online, get them on your email list, turn them into a friend. And it's like, well, what do you mean by friend list? Again, you're not talking to your best friend, you're talking to, the person that has a mutual interest of your niche topic, right? And to make a friend in the inbox, you just have to do three things. Number one, show you're invested. Have that welcome sequence, send weekly newsletters, show up, create workshops and offers like Stacy's teaching you how to do. And that shows you're invested in them, right? Even saying, if you've got a podcast, hey, I bought a new podcast mic, I'm going to Podfest. That shows you're invested in your craft, right? And then number two, and what we've been talking about is become relatable to them, right?
yes.
Stacy said, "Oh, well, she loves NSYNC. I love BTS. Not the same, but incredibly relatable." Spoiler alert, relating to humans is actually super easy because we're wired to relate to each other. We are like herd animals. We want to be together. We want community. We want to relate to people. Even if you're like, "Oh my gosh, I hate NSYNC." You remember when you were alive back then, right? You're like, "Oh, I was too young. I was too old," or I was Backstreet Boys. I was 98 Degrees. Oh, I was already into the hip hop scene. I wasn't a boy band girly, right? You're relating in some way, even if it's not the exact match. And that was what Stacey was saying. So again, you want to show you're invested. You want to become relatable to your people, and a lot of your personality will be relatable. And then the third thing you want to do is stay top of mind, which means don't ghost your email list. have that welcome sequence in place and then write that subsequent newsletter at least once a week so people don't forget who you are, so that they can know you're invested. They can see how relatable you are because you're top of mind for them.
Awesome. I want to shift a little bit into what you were just talking about the weekly newsletter. So I kind of want to get your thoughts on actually what's working now. I know this is like a big question, like what's working now, headlines, length, all of the things. Like, what are your thoughts on what's working now for weekly newsletters?
Listen, what is working now is what has always worked. Human to human contact. I don't care if you consider yourself B2B, B2C, whatever. The more you can just be a human talking to another human, the better your chances are. Now, if we wanted to get into some tactics on how to do that, number one, and I know you might cringe, you might gasp. If you're driving, just make sure you don't drive off the road. Really try not to use AI.
Mm,
Unless you already have a proven email system, AI is not going to help you. It's going to hinder you from connecting to your audience. You've got to find your voice before you can let AI have your voice, right? So I want you, really invite you, I really challenge you to just write the way that you talk, okay? That's really going to work this year. And that's what worked for me for many years. I've been email marketing at least once a week for nearly a decade now. It'll be a decade in a few months. It's so crazy to me.
mm.
And I've just always seen results when I just write again, like I'm writing to Stacy, like I'm writing to Nahaku, like I'm writing to Lakendra. Okay. Just writing to a human. The second thing I think that's working right now is honestly to have a little bit of fun in your emails. I was talking to a friend who's really deep into the email game, and they were saying, social media really isn't social anymore. It's more media, right? It's more
Mm.
people like Stacy and I just trying to market our businesses. It's less of, oh my gosh, there's Stacy from high school. Oh, look at her cute little kids. Oh, there's her mom. Oh, I'm gonna like that. I'm gonna comment. Tell your mom I said hi. I haven't seen her in years, right? It's less of that now, and it's more of just the algorithm feeding us content from people like us. And honestly, that's great for my business. I'm not complaining. But with email has been email for 20, 30 years now, right? It's not changing a lot. And so if we can make the inbox fun, then we can really combat that social media. I don't know, what am I trying to say? Addiction, right? And so something that I'm doing lately is I'm putting a lot of emphasis on show, don't tell. So showing lots of videos, making fun. Like if I was sending this podcast out, I might find the most ridiculous soundbite or the most ridiculous thumbnail I can find, screenshot it and put it in the email and say, hey, skip to the 11-minute mark where I da 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 da, right? Just having a little bit of fun with it using GIFs, and I make custom GIFs of myself. I
I
use
think I saw that.
Jiffy.com. Yeah, and those are just really fun. And again, it's getting that FaceTime without getting FaceTime, right? People know you're a real person. They want to see that imperfection because everyone else really is using AI, whether it's on social or in email. They're using it a lot, and we're becoming a little numb to it, right? So if you can be a person, if you can have a little fun in your emails, if you can put images in your emails, and this isn't every time. My emails are text only, and every once in a while I'll put a GIF or a screenshot thumbnail or, a picture of myself. And that just breaks the pattern up and, helps me become more relatable. And that's what I'm seeing working with email.
I really like that you touched on AI because I have tried to write with AI, and even though I've upload like there's this thing where you upload past content to get AI to sound like your voice, and it doesn't matter how many times I've tried to train ChatGPT, it still doesn't sound like me. So it's great for when I like absolutely have to get something out last minute, but reading through the email doesn't it it's the worst, not performing because I actually haven't checked the stats, but my personal least favorite emails are the ones written by AI. And actually, what I use AI now for these days is to write out the first draft.
Mm.
It shows me everything that I hate about it. I completely dump it, and then I rewrite the email. Like that's literally what I use AI for, is to just tell me what not to do, because it doesn't I like it doesn't matter how much training I put into it, it still doesn't sound like me, but it is a great starting point. It's almost like it's kind I used to do this with my ex, where it's like we would be like, "What do you want for lunch?" or "What do you want for dinner?" And I would be like, "Panda Express, no. Chipotle, no." And then I'll go through like five different options, and he'll pick one that was not even on the list. Like, okay, he's like, "Oh, I want steakhouse," or something like that. And I'm like, "Why did you even ask me?" He's like, "I don't know." It's like you need to know what you don't want before you know what it is that you actually want. And similarly, when it comes to writing, I do get writer's block and I get stuck. AI is great for figuring out what I personally what I don't want, but even now, I write the emails and I see what AI is putting out, and then I will compare that to emails that I'm getting from other marketers, and I'm seeing the same thing. One phrase that drives me absolutely nuts is confidence, consistency, and some other words that starts with a C, and I just see it everywhere. Like everyone
Really?
writes
Oh my
confidence,
goodness.
consistency,
Maybe clarity or
clarity.
something.
Yes, that's the one. That's it.
Oh
That's it.
gosh,
That's
yeah,
it.
so
It is. It's
cliche.
exactly it.
So
I like
predictable. Yeah, AI is
everyone.
great. I love that Stacy just said, use it for, what you don't want. Or how I recommend is, use it for ideas, content
Mhm.
ideas, right? And maybe even, can you put an outline together for me? But yeah, if everybody and their mother is doing it, then nothing is going to stand out. And you've got to stand out in the inbox. I like to say the inbox is like the mailbox, right? If you send me a package in the mail, oh my gosh, Stacy sent me something. I wonder what it is. You send me something again the next day about the same type of package. Oh, that's weird. I got one yesterday. Let me open it. The third time, oh, I think I know what's in that. I'm not going to open it anymore, right? It's the same in the inbox. If I send you an email, oh, Liz sent me an email, great. Then I send you the same email or, something that sounds very similar the next day. Oh, okay. And then by the third, it's like, oh, I know what's in that. I don't have time to open it. I'll open it later. And y'all, later means never. And when you're using AI, it can really feel like that. Number one, because your emails, AI is trained to do things very similarly. It's trying to sound like Stacy. It's trying to sound like you. And so it's going to spit out very similar things. But the way I sound today might not be the way I sound tomorrow. Today I sent out an email and I was in a super goofy mood. So it was like, yo, with like 10 O's. But I might write something tomorrow and I might be in a terrible mood and I might say, I'm in a terrible mood. But, we got to get this workshop done. Click the link here if to RSVP, right? That's real life, right? And honestly, when it comes to the inbox, again, you don't want to send that same quote unquote package over and over again because they're going to stop opening. And AI is going to give you something very similar over and over. Even if it's got your voice down pat, it doesn't have the strategy down. And the strategy is to vary the content, right? To put your personality in it. And honestly, your personality can change day to day. I know mine does. Is that anybody else? Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down, sometimes I'm left, sometimes I'm right. And, I write that way. I write my emails that way, but ChatGPT can't replicate that, right? So, unless you're a master in prompts and you're spending hours with ChatGPT to craft your emails, it's not going to do that. And by that point, you might as well just use it for an outline and write your own stuff.
Yeah. So I love this take on AI. Like we like to use it to get ideas, but don't use it for the final product. Kind of put your voice into it and make sure that you're the one, at the end of the day, you're the one behind the wheel of your email. Now let's talk about getting those emails open. You've done a few podcasts about email headlines, email subject lines, and you've even talked about like what's working, what's not working. Can you give us can you give us a little idea of what is working and more so why it's working, and then what to look for, and then also types of headlines maybe to avoid.
Yeah, sure. So, number one, I want to say that the subject line or the headline is actually the second most important thing. The
Mhm.
first most important thing is the from line. From Stacey
Oh.
Barnes, from Liz Wilcox, from Shahara Wright, from Brock Johnson, whoever, right? Because
Mhm.
we know these people, right? We just talked about sharing personality. your vision, your values, investing, relating, staying top of mind. When we do all that, I could have a subject line, or I could just leave it blank. Actually, I did that on accident last week. I sent an email out that had no subject line and it still had a 50% open rate. It had
Wow.
no subject line. Why did people open it? Because of the from line, because Liz Wilcox sent it. And oh man, Liz Wilcox sent me something. I wonder what's inside, right?
Yeah.
And so the from line is really important. And we already talked about, having a proper welcome sequence, setting expectations, becoming a friend in the inbox. Those are the things you need to get that from line, to where people will open. Now, that said, of course, I might see, oh, Liz Wilcox sent me something. And I might just need that extra push to open the email, right? Like, oh, I know her, but I've only been on her list a couple months. I'm busy. Am I actually going to open this? So yes, the headline or the subject line is important too. And what I'm seeing working is, again, number one, varying it, right? You don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. So vary. Sometimes 5 words, sometimes three, sometimes one word, making it so it's to a friend. Don't write your subject lines or your headlines the same way you're writing headlines for Google, right? The same way we might write our title for a podcast episode is not how we're going to write a subject line because we're sending to friends, right? We want to put the social back into email marketing,
Hmm.
right? And so write to a friend, write to that one person who is on your list, but they've never emailed you back. You're wondering if they even open your emails, write it to that person. So, for example, if I was sending out this podcast episode, I might say, strategy call turned podcast episode, right? Like that's a little intriguing. What are they talking about? Or, something like thought I was getting on a strategy call, dot, dot, dot. That creates an open loop. Or what if I saw this episode on Facebook and I thought, oh, my audience would like this. I might say something like saw this on Facebook and thought of you, right? And then something I've been experimenting with actually for about a year and a half now is one word subject lines. And
Mm.
those are doing so, they outperform always, always. If I can boil the email down to one word, it usually gets 60% open or more. For
Wow.
example, I mentioned I'm doing that workshop and I sent an email out that said, "Hey, before we do this thing, I need your help. Can you help me revamp this workshop? Send me, fill out the survey." And the subject line, guess what it was? It was before. The subject line was before. And I sent that about 48 hours ago and it already has like a 58% open rate. I assume in the next couple of days it'll probably be over 60%. But the thing about the one word subject lines is you got to think about when you open up your Gmail app or whatever app you're using for your emails, because most of us are checking our email on our phone. Let's be real.
Hmm.
We only have so much text, right? And so if I've got 10 emails in a row that are all following the 3 to 5 word rule, they all kind of blend in, right? But if I've got one that only has a really short word in it, that's visually, like quite literally going to stand out to me because it's only one word compared to all of these, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 word subject lines, right? So it literally stands out. And like I said, I've been experimenting with that. I guess it's not an experiment anymore. I guess it's just part of my strategy and tactics. I've been doing one word subject lines forever now. 18 months, I guess. And I love them. My audience loves them. It creates a lot of intrigue because it's like before what? That could be so many different things. So I feel like it lights up the brain and people can't help but open.
Yeah. I I think this is great. And I really like that you talked about mobile and how most of us check our phones through email. It's one of those things that should be obvious, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I do mostly check my emails on my phone and like realizing that you're probably going to get a truncated headline or sorry, truncated subject line and just thinking about the user experience when people use their emails, they're checking it on their phone. And so writing the email as well, realizing that it's also probably going to be on their phone. And so just considering that as you're writing this content. Awesome. Okay. I my brain flipped out. I There was a question that I was going to ask after, but the one that I have on my mind right now it's kind of like a choppy segue, but you're talking about a workshop. I wanted to ask this towards the end, but because it's the only thing that's in my head right now, I'm just going to ask it now. The workshop, when is your workshop going to be? It sounds like it's going to be a great fit for my audience. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, so the workshop goes live January 20th, 1 p.m. Eastern. It's $49 and it's all about welcome sequences. We are going to go over, the frequency, how, like, do I send it day after day? Do I wait a week? What is that? How many emails you need and why? We're also going to talk about, if you have multiple freebies, do you have one welcome sequence or do you have several? And then we are actually going to write the emails. So we're going to put the work in workshop, baby. And so you're going to get, when you sign up for that $49, you're going to get that welcome sequence templatized. And I'm going to walk you through email by email, all the things we talked about, Stacy, that personality, the vision, the values, where to put that in the welcome sequence so people know right off the bat who you are, how you can help, what you stand for. And then we're also going to, talk about those setting expectations, getting replies to your emails so that people, you know, they remember you and you land in their inbox. We're going to talk about how to get that click rate up in the welcome sequence because whatever your metrics are in your welcome sequence, I say it with love, but they're never going to get better than that.
Mm.
No one is going to be more excited than when they first join. And so your first email, your second, third, fourth, those should be the highest open rates you ever get. And so we're going to talk about how to make sure with your subject lines, with the content, that each one, keeps that open rate up, keeps that click rate up so that when you send out the newsletters, your open click conversion rate is really as high as possible. So again, that's a 2-hour workshop. We're going to go over some basics of welcome sequences, and then you're going to live write, either rewrite what you already have or start from scratch with the templates. I'm super excited about it.
This is exactly what I need right now, and I'm super,
Yay!
super excited about it. So you said it's January 20th. I was checking my calendar earlier. That's next Tuesday, and it is January 14th right now. It's next Tuesday, right?
Yeah, it's next Tuesday. And if you're listening to this a little late, I always sell the recording so you can watch that recording, follow along. And whenever you purchase from me, that gives you free license to email me incessantly with any and all questions.
That is really cool that you do that as well. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rush this podcast or rush it to production and try to get it out by Thursday or Friday, probably Friday because I have Podfest, but probably Friday. I'm going to email my list, let them know so that hopefully they can join you live next Tuesday. I think that's going to be it's going to be perfect for my beginner audience who are still learning to write emails, learning to create their offer. I think this is going to be great for them. And then again, like I said, like Liz said, even if you can't make it live, there will be a recording available. So make sure you get your hands on that. Okay, we have a few more minutes. So actually, I thought we'd switch over to something a little bit more fun. I
Okay.
know. Okay, people don't know my audience doesn't know this about you, but you were a contestant on Survivor. And so yeah, I don't know how often you've talked about this, but I have actually ever since I heard this, I wanted to ask you personally, like
Yeah, go for
how was
it.
that going? Like how was that? I think you were actually you were doing email marketing while you were on the show or you were doing something like on
Yeah.
the show. Yeah.
So it's so funny. And let this, I know you're listening and you might be new or you're finally getting your offer together. And let this just be a testament to email marketing and what is actually possible for you. So I went on that show, Survivor. Yes, that show is still on. It's about to celebrate its 50th season.
Wow.
I was on season 46. And what's crazy is while I was on the island, I was making $1,000 a day with my emails.
Wow.
I just scheduled emails. I told people because I couldn't, I had an NDA. I couldn't tell people I'm going on Survivor. So I just told them, hey, I'm going off grid for the summer. I'll see you guys in a few months. And I actually took 90 full days off. I was out on the island for 5 full weeks, but then I needed to recover physically and mentally. Spoiler alert, I didn't win, but I was the last person eliminated from the competition. So I came really close. So I had to recover from that, right? And so I took 90 full days off. And in those 90 days, I made over $100,000. So I was making
Wow.
over $1,000 a day playing a silly but brutal reality TV competition show. And so it's just what, maybe you don't ever want to go on Survivor, but you probably would love to take summers off. And since then, that was 2023, I have taken every summer off since then. I've taken over 90 days off every single summer. I take December's off, I take weekends off. And it truly is all because of email marketing, because I have a really strong relationship with my list, because I'm able to, batch my content when I need to, right? When I'm taking summer off, just write the emails in advance. I can have sales without even being online. And I do that. I do a Christmas in July sale. Last summer I did it, made $63,000 in 72 hours. It's
Wow.
just dumb. It's just dumb. I was on the beach. I didn't even log in that week. I did not even log in, and the sale just ran. But I think the question was about Survivor, but I just love
No,
email
I love
so
that. I love
much.
the segue.
I
So I
just
love the
love
segue.
email so much. But Survivor was honestly the best and worst thing that could have ever happened to me. It taught me so much. It made me, gritty as all get out. And it's such an honor, the same way it's an honor to serve my members in my email marketing membership. It was such an honor, and it still is such an honor to meet fans. My daughter and I, yesterday, we went I treated her to a matcha latte,
Oh.
because she's that girl. She's 11. And the girl saw me and was like, "Wait, were you on Survivor?" And I said, "Yeah." And she just started jumping up and down and telling everyone, "Oh my gosh, there's a celebrity. There's a celebrity." And, it made me feel good. But then I looked at my daughter. Again, she's 11, and she was beaming. She was so proud. And I said,
Oh.
my daughter dared me to apply to be on the show, and she was just so proud, that. And I looked at her and I said, "See that? We brought people joy. If you never would have used your voice to tell me I should apply, this girl would not be this happy right here, right now." And that has been such a joy, to bring so many people such happiness, giddiness, excitement, and to bring my daughter so much pride, and to teach her such a lesson that opening her mouth and, stating her opinion can make huge, massive change in that, like hundreds of millions of lives. Because if she never would have dared me to apply, she said, "Mom, are you going to talk about it, or are you going to do it?" When I kept
Oh,
talking about
wow.
applying. If she wouldn't have opened her mouth, that show is aired in 125 countries. It's seen by millions and millions of people. And I had an effect on every single person that watched that show. I was on every single episode, and I made it quite a scene. You can Google it.
Oh
And if
my gosh.
she never would have opened her mouth, I might still be wondering if I could ever get on that show. And so that to me has been the best thing to come out of Survivor, is to teach my daughter that her voice matters, and it can make massive, massive impact on, an incredibly unfathomable amount of people.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you were spotted in public and
Yeah.
call
Oh,
you.
all the time. It happens all the time. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute. And I love your daughter, how she's so little, but she like children, they have this confidence that we don't have, that they just go boldly ask for
Right.
whatever it is. And so I love that she asked you to do this, and that she was the one that encouraged you and pushed you and like, Mom, you can do this. So I love that. Also, I love that she loves matcha lattes because like same.
Listen, y'all, she doesn't even put the vanilla syrup. She is like a real matcha fan. She's like, "I like that it's a little bitter."
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, she's legit.
She's hardcore.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. I had a follow-up question, a segue. It's just not coming to me. I don't know. Probably in the same way that it was probably good that I didn't have actually anything to strategize with you, because I really loved all of the things that you said today. Like, this has been super
Great.
helpful. This has been super amazing. Looking forward to that workshop and just taking everything that you said today and taking it to the next level. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, yes. So, for people who are new and they're like, I'm not quite ready to dropped $49 on a workshop. Can I just kind of see what you have to offer first? Let us know where they can find you online, how to stay connected with you.
Yeah, of course. I'm an email marketer. I'd love for you to join my email list. And actually, if you go to lizwilcox.com and hit the hot pink button in the top right hand corner, you can't miss it, hot pink, you're going to get a welcome sequence already templatized for you. You can fill that out by yourself. You're going to get 3 newsletter samples to show you how to inject that personality, how to become relatable, show you're invested, all of that. And because I know writing from scratch totally sucked. Stacy brought it up earlier. I'm going to throw in 52 subject lines for a year full of prompts so you never have to write from scratch. That's lizwilcox.com, hot pink button, baby.
Yes, I love it. Okay, now I remember what my question was. Okay, so you were talking about how you were on Survivor and you made all this money. What is that? $1,000 a day, ridiculous amounts of money. And people are like, how did she do that? So you have apparently you have systems that are going on the back end that are obviously generating you money. Can you talk a little bit about how you've set up your revenue stream so that all of this comes in automated?
Yeah, so it's actually super simple. Y'all, I'm a two-step chick. If it takes 3 steps, I'm out. I'm not doing it. We like to think that we can do more than 2 steps, but we can't. So truly, the system is I just batch write the emails and then I schedule them. And before that, I have a calendar on my wall and it has everything for the year. So I only look semi-pro. I'm actually a super planner. And so I know when my big launches are going to be. I've got one around my birthday in March, the Christmas in July sale I mentioned, and then Black Friday. And so that's every 4 months. And so I know what kind of emails I need to write and when. And so a couple months before every sale, I start, really focusing on list building and focusing on, that pre-launch, getting that my personality out there, getting people to understand, hey, this is what I do, these are the expectations, this is coming up, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. My gosh, it's here. And so again, I just look at my calendar with the dates and I just write the emails. And at this point, I've been selling the same thing for 5 years. And so, I can repurpose a lot of those old emails. I can actually use ChatGPT to tell me, like, hey, what's the consumer feeling like nowadays? And so I can revamp my emails depending on, what AI and I talk about, oh, are they practicing discernment? Are they feeling good about the future? Are they feeling hopeless? Things like that. So I can craft the messaging. But really, the system is very simple. It's me planning things out. You don't have to plan a whole year, but planning the next 90 days, batch writing the emails, and just hitting schedule.
That is so simple and so easy and ridiculous. I love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Liz. This has been amazing. So many valuable nuggets. To those of you who are listening out there, make sure to find Liz Wilcox at lizwilcox.com and hit the pink button. I think that's right, Liz.
Yep,
Pink
see
button.
you can't miss it, baby.
Okay, awesome. So thank you for everyone who's listening. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you next time. Bye.